Teachers, welcome back from Christmas vacation. I hope you guys had a restful vacation. Hope you had a chance to spend a lot of good time with your family and friends. And so I'm super excited to be back and to begin this instructional work with you this semester. I hope that you guys had a wonderful semester in the classroom. And I'm really excited about where we're going this spring. And so just a quick recap before I get into your first instructional video of the spring semester. Just a recap of the things from the fall. In the fall, we basically broke down like the lesson plan and really like did some targeted intervention in terms of instruction in specific areas. So the first thing is we dealt with components of a mini lecture. We talked about like how to really create a good, meaningful mini lecture that will really drive home the points that you want the kids to connect to. We spent a lot of work on differentiation, meaning just how to differentiate. Instead of if my class is 90 minutes long, how do I change sporadically throughout the class to make sure that I'm meeting all the students in their learning styles. We spent a lot of time talking about meaningful hooks, how to really hook my kids, how to really make sure that before I even start teaching, what are some resources and what are some tactics and strategies that I can use to really hook my kids into the lesson to keep them engaged throughout the class. We talked about vocabulary immersion, like how do I really truly immerse vocabulary into my lessons? How do I make that vocabulary stick so that my kids from unit to unit can recall terminology and economy of language that's used in my class. We also talked about the quality of essential questions. After a good lesson, after a good differentiation, can my kids really answer the question of what they were supposed to garner from the lesson? And so we spent a lot of time in the fall semester talking about those bits and pieces of instruction. And so this semester, we're going to kind of take that to another level. And so this is going to take us into phase 2 of instruction development. And so in phase 2, we're going to deal with concepts like depth of knowledge, rigor, 21st century skill immersion, Bloom's taxonomy and learning systems, and also intentional coaching. And so this first instructional video is going to be centered around DOK, or what we call depth of knowledge. And so basically what that really means is just as you're teaching your students, as you're lecturing, as you are getting across your specific discipline, it really deals with like the level that the students are able to learn it at. And so there's 4 levels. And so when you do your benchmark information, when you get your benchmark assessment data back, you will notice that there's like DOK in Master Connect. There's depth of knowledge like percentages as well. And so what we really want to do is, now that we got a feel for like how I'm supposed to be teaching, what I'm supposed to be teaching, now we want to focus on going deeper into our instruction. So for example, if you're teaching a lesson and it's like level 1, or DOK, or depth of knowledge, like that level 1 is just basically recall. So it's like, okay guys, what's the First Amendment to the Constitution? And they say freedom of speech. Okay, that's like level 1, that's DOK. Level 2 is like skills and concepts. So it's like, okay guys, read these passages and tell me all the amendments that apply to these passages. Okay, that's like level 2. Level 3 is strategic thinking. All right, so it's basically saying like, okay, so based on this constitutional amendment, like how can this amendment defend a citizen, or how can this amendment be considered like an infraction? And so you see what I'm saying? So you're taking this level of thinking to a different level. And level 4 is extended thinking. So this is where like when you get into your extended thinking, this is where you really want to take kids into that higher level of thinking. So this is like complex reasoning. This requires students to design and conduct experiences or experiments. And so level 1, you're kind of using terms like identify, recall, use, measure. Level 2, it's like organize or estimate or classify. Level 3, you're using terms like justify, explain, or draw a conclusion. And level 4, it's like make connections. It's like how can you take 2 different things and connect them? And so as we were talking about amendments, it's like taking 2 court cases and tell me how that one amendment is applicable to both. Does that make sense? And so as we begin to kind of move on into second semester, and we won't PLC for another 2 weeks, so we won't start PLCs because the first 2 weeks we really want you guys to take a deep dive into your fall data and begin to disaggregate your data, so you can kind of have like a game plan in terms of how you're going to initiate these learning strategies this semester. But right now, the first key that we really want to focus on in our phase 2 of instruction development is depth of knowledge. So teachers, as you're doing your lesson plans, as you're doing you're planning your classroom activities, I really want you to take that depth of knowledge to another level. So if you realize it's level 1, then let's take it deeper. Let's force kids to be able to evaluate and analyze and go deeper into your instruction, so that we know that when they take those assessments, that not only are they able to recognize level 1 stuff, but even if they have to take their thinking deeper, that they're able to kind of recognize some undisclosed information that may or may not be specifically listed in the test, but might be required some subliminal thinking to be able to kind of recall that information. Okay, so again, as you guys are beginning the lesson plan, as you're getting your second semester kicked off, really begin to be transformative in your class, and think about what level am I teaching at, and if you're teaching at level 1, how can I get to level 2, level 3, level 4? If I can be any of assistance to you, if I can help you in any way, if you need me to say, hey, can you look at this and tell me kind of what level I'm at, please don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, welcome back. We're going to have an amazing spring 2020 semester. I'm super excited. If I can be of any help or assistance to you in terms of your instruction or any area, let me know, please. All right, have a great day.